Welcome back to Kweebec Corner. If you didn't catch round 1 of Hytale Fan Art Wars with EthosPaladin versus DairyPanda, then you can check it out right here. And without further ado, let's jump right into round 2 and round 3. This video is sponsored by Server Pro. Server Pro has everything you need to host the next big Hytale server. With custom host names and support for modding and scripting, why not start your adventure today and grab a free Minecraft server that you can swap over once Hytale is launched. So, round 2. Your character is a Kweebec, and the context is at Christmas time.
At Christmas time?
So, Kweebec at Christmas time.
I feel like there's a painfully obvious joke I could go for.
We wish you a Merry Kweebec, we wish you a Merry Kweebec, we wish you a Merry Kweebec and a Happy New Year.
I like how that was your first thought, was to come up with a Christmas parody song.
Well, I had to, it was Kweebec time.
DairyPanda Hytale parodies coming soon.
In HD.
In HD and with custom art.
Oh god, that would be morbid. Like, what if one died? Oh, because you know when they die, right? And the blog post said that they become much like the trees they resemble. Yeah. So it's like, do you think they decorate those for Christmas?
So I thought it was 10-minute intervals originally. So yesterday I was actually training. I had people in that Discord we're in. And I was like, hey, give me art requests.
And you were just sort of like training and doing your back and forth and in 10 minutes?
I made Iron Man, I made Kweebec, and then somebody asked for a realistic twerk, and I love him, and I also hate him because of it.
And now
the realistic twerk was not good for 10 minutes. If you asked me to do something realistic in 10 minutes, I would hate you too.
So yeah, a Kweebec at Christmas time, I don't know what sort of thoughts that shoots into your mind, but
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm thinking sort of like Kweebec, who's maybe a little miffed that the others are using him as a makeshift Christmas tree right now.
I think we've seen a post already about how they celebrate Christmas. So if you know, if you remember any details from that, you might be able to get some inspiration there. I don't know. Might need to rack your brain.
Uh-oh. It's been too long, dude.
You've got to remember what a Kweebec is, surely. I think I saw a post that you did recently thanking a Hytale team, and it had a Kweebec hanging off. So one question I had for this was, what do you think of the new blog post? But obviously we've discussed the newest blog post. What do you think? What do you think about the blog post we got a couple of weeks back now? What do you think about all that stuff?
I guess I would say there had been sort of like a problem that was recognized with the communication before. You know, I think the Game Gurus made a video on it. You know, sort of just how they promised communication, especially in a few tweets, and suddenly, like, it had been a few months before they even did anything again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people felt that empty space, for sure.
Yeah, and to sort of just finally get those blog posts, it was just like, oh wow, they finally come and they finally shown that they're still working on the game, and not only that, but they've promised that they're going to update us on their progress, you know, and instead of just showing us final stuff, you know, because I think the one thing that could potentially kill hype for the game is just a lack of information being shown. And I think now with the sort of the progress reports, I think that's going to sort of prevent like a lack from happening.
I think the participants from last time both did amazing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I really did. I loved watching the video you did on it, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, well, I gotta get in it now. Oh, that was so cool and looks like so much fun.
Honestly, Fire did a great job, and so did Swifty, because Swifty's voxel art is really entertaining to see that come together when I was rewatching the footage.
My favorite part is when he just sort of randomly put in the Lego, and I was like, oh my god, yes.
No, but yeah, those guys did absolutely amazing, and I loved that first episode. I think it all came together really well. It was a bit unprepared, but I'm hoping that this time we've got it a bit more together and everything's a bit more structured.
It also sort of helps to keep them grounded, the fact that they'll have progress reports. I remember on Reddit, on the Hytale info, actually, I was talking to one guy. I think it was my first post since I made the Reddit account. And he was essentially talking about how he feared it could go into development hell and that they would aim too high for perfection. Yeah. And I had sort of realized now that they have like the blog post, the progress reports, you know, I think that's a lot less likely. It'll help them stay grounded in that regard.
Yeah, there's always a chance of losing touch with your audience, and that sort of that spark that initially wanted people to come to the game and made people interested in the actual product. You know, they lose that by not speaking and communicating enough. Then, you know, that's their problem. But they need to be in communication. They need to be getting feedback, which is the most important thing. Is now that they are recognizing things that people are saying. You know, we know that it's a work in progress system. We just want to help with making it the best system that it is, so that the game doesn't crash and burn when it does release.
Right, yeah.
Sorry, go on.
I had a feeling you were going to ask me to do a Kweebec,
Mm-hmm.
because that's actually the first thing that got me noticed within the Hytale community.
Okay.
So that's the only thing I was really prepared for.
I might have to start changing things up, but there's a fine balance between getting the more iconic characters in rounds as opposed to like more subtle things that people aren't too sure of or don't remember too well.
Yeah.
Quebecs, I think, are spot on iconography wise. Like, they work pretty well as a symbol of the game so far. So we got a bunch of new blog posts. What are your thoughts? What do you think about all that? Getting all that information all at once.
Okay. First of all, I loved it. The gameplay was it made my year. Seeing the gameplay, I was like, okay, I'm more than excited for this game now.
It's such a small detail, but the fact that they had audio as well really made it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of 2020, 2021 release date. That was... Man, that hit hard.
What do you think about that? I mean, did that set your plans back? I mean, what are your plans for release? What are your thoughts about the whole thing?
I mean, my plans for release were more or less just sort of letting things go by, you know, and just waiting. Because the thing that I guess hit hard wasn't the actual release date, but more just the idea that, like, oh dang, it isn't just around the corner, like the community sort of often has an idea of, if that makes sense. Like, I know when it was released, or when the trailer was released, people were saying, oh, it's going to come out, like, this year's spring. You know, like, everybody sort of thought it was a very close game. And now that sort of has been addressed, and it's like, no, not really. You know, it's good that we have that information, but it was sort of just like, oh, wow, 2021, whew, you know? But I think I think it's good, though, you know? I really want for them to take as much time as they need and to not be stressed with regards to anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the last thing I want is for the team to feel like they have too high of expectations.
Ooh.
How do you think this one's looking so far?
Not exactly how I wanted it to look.
Okay.
I made one fatal mistake at the very beginning, but I'm not gonna share what it is, so it seems like I did it intentionally.
Okay.
Gotta make sure you add varying colors.
So, how's it looking?
I have the first basic outline done, so that's good.
Of the Quebec?
Yep.
What do you think about Quebecs? What are the, like, you know, significant features? How are you remembering to draw them?
To me, I think their significant features are sort of like the foliage on their bodies, like the leaves on their heads and on their torso, their ears, and also sort of just on some spots they have paler colors, like around their mouths and their hands and their feet, I believe.
I am refusing to not add some more details because it doesn't look compositionally good enough to me.
What are you drawing right now?
I'm actually adding a bunch of extra layers to make it look prettier.
Mm-hmm. I was watching Baby Yoda recently, and it dawned on me that they kind of look similar.
That's the thing, and you made a tweet a while back on how Baby Yoda would totally hang out with them if he was in Hytale, and that made me think, oh, I'm going to make some fan art, which is still coming.
I can't wait.
And I was thinking, okay, what would be the first interaction between Baby Yoda and the Quebecs? And I realized, they look similar, especially the green Quebecs, who are smaller.
Mm.
You know, there would definitely be a sort of like, hey, are you a mirror kind of interaction going on.
I,
I guess it sucks that you're a perfectionist, huh?
oh, don't tell me about it. I just think, oh, well, this would look pretty. I'm adding light particles. That's.
So I think the coloring is coming along well. I like this one a lot more than the Human Warrior, just because Quebecs already are very simple and small in size and stature. So I feel sort of like less pressure to do a simplified version of them, or to go even more simplified, I should say.
You have got 30 seconds.
All right, I think I'm done.
3, 2, 1.
Done.
Okay.
Stop.
Boom.
Stop the timer.
Round
Stop,
2
guys.
is over. Round 3. Okay. This one's going to be a little bit different, just in the festive spirit of things.
Mm-hmm.
So the character is completely freestyle, and the context is anything you want. So you can create any character in any situation. You could do a scenery piece. You could do an action combat setting, a comic book strip, anything you want. An art piece
All right.
that represents your love of Hytale.
All right. So we are allowed to look at reference images for this one, right?
You are indeed.
Awesome.
Reference images have been allowed for this one round, purely because you could literally make anything, so there's no way that two people could be judged comparably on how well they're doing stuff, unless they chose the same thing, which is very unlikely.
Can I think for a second?
Yeah, go for it.
I decided, like, something that I've been wanting to draw for a while would be like a Farron fighting a Skarak, I believe it's pronounced.
I don't think I've seen anyone do anything like that yet.
I wonder if canonically, like in the game, they're even really in interaction, or if they've been sort of just like isolated with one another.
I've taken a very different route with the drawing.
Okay. Give me some
different route.
descriptions. What are you doing right now?
Carrot.
Yeah, because we know that like the Scaraks had enslaved the Farrons for a while, and that's why the Farrons wear the shackles, right? In order to sort of remember the past history.
Like with the freedom symbol, yeah.
Carrot.
You have in fact got 18 minutes left.
Told you I was gonna need the most time on this one.
So I mean, in terms of doing art, right now I assume you do it as a hobby?
Well, I am taking commissions, so...
Okay, you take commissions?
It's a bit more than a hobby, but, like, it's my only source of income at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever somebody's like, hey, can I commission you? I'm like, yes.
Yeah, but like there's so much other lore that we don't even know about yet.
So they've got a 90-page compendium. I'm so ready to dig deep, because I feel like we haven't even got, like, more than 2 or 3 pages at best yet.
90-page compendium, did they really say that?
Yep, so I think it was either Simon or Noxie tweeted that out at one point when someone asked if they had actually got deep lore. And to be honest, if it's a deep lore story-based survival game, that makes sense that they'd need a lot of backstory.
Definitely.
And if they're planning expansions in the future and updates, they're going to need things to fall back on.
I can wait as long as I need to for it at this point. I don't feel like... I don't know. I really love everything that's happening regarding the release. I feel like it's being executed very well and to my liking.
Oh, have you seen like the concept art for the different types of Skaraks? Or
I have
Scaraks?
indeed.
Yeah, I'm looking at it again now, and just like, oh my god, the brood mother, the giant queen-looking thing with all the eggs inside of it. That's crazy.
Pretty scary.
Yeah.
It's going to be mad to see what that looks as a physical mob, looks like as a physical mob.
Mm-hmm.
And do you have any like in-game art hobbies? Like, do you like building or maybe like texturing or anything like that?
I'm okay at building. I'm really excited to create machinimas more than anything. Yeah, I don't know. I looked at it and then I was like, these are the right tools to create fun stories and create awesome animations with it too. there's also like tons of things I want people to do, right? Like, I really want somebody to make a Percy Jackson mod. Okay.
Okay.
Like, hear me out. Like, there's some cool things that everybody I think would enjoy.
I was just gonna say, I love sort of when bosses interact with the environment and they're not sort of just like a damage sponge.
Like, more complex boss fights are always important. Like, changing it up, but like not so much that it completely alienates everyone, but like having that sort of different bit of technique, you know? I think Minecraft does it quite well with like the Ender Dragon. You have to have a specific technique, and with
the Wither.
With the Wither you do. I'm not too sure about the Elder Guardian, but I feel like, you know, Hytale's clearly going to have a lot more than that to offer, so they're going to need to like change up the pace a bit more, and I think they have the option to do that with like the different weapon types and, you know, having a more like MMO feel to it and systematic vibe. Cool. I'm gonna give you some time to focus. Let's see how long you've got left. You've got.
I need to keep talking, otherwise I'm gonna go mad. This has not gone at all how I wanted it to.
Well, actually, you know, you don't have to worry because you have still got 13 minutes and 30 seconds.
That's not a lot of time to start over, buddy. I mean,
Oh, it is a Farron fighting a tank class Scarrick. With what I assume are the Farron's sort of like traditional weapons, which are like the two-pronged spear that they've been shown with.
my opponent, I cannot wait to see what they're gonna pull out. Because they're having the same prompts, right?
Yep, the exact same.
Oh, it's gonna be so cool to see what they do.
I'm super hyped now.
I am too. Progress update.
This is good. This is good. Okay, so I mean, referring to the
You should have me record with you more often.
so referring to the progress update that just dropped right this moment as we're recording. What do you like? We haven't read it right now, but do you think that's good that they're keeping up to date with the communications going into next year?
I think it's wonderful. So wonderful.
I was getting deep into like theory stuff, and I was almost thinking about like evolution pens, and the Farrens kinda look like they were related to the Kweebecs in some sort of like bloodline way.
That could make sense.
I don't know if it's just the ears, but like the ears definitely suggest like the pointy ears thing. Like I don't know if we see like then we've got elves, they've got pointy ears. Like is it just something about pointy ears on Orbis?
Like pointy ears are definitely like a very used like fantasy trope, you know?
Definitely, yeah.
Especially for related species, you know.
I'm just gonna start drawing a lot of happy things.
We haven't seen much about the elves. Just saying. Or the fawns.
Or the fawns, or the Slothians as well. We got some concept art, right? But not
They're
much.
3 huge races that we really haven't seen anything about.
Yeah.
Yay!
How's your drawing looking?
I'm I don't think I'm gonna win this one.
I was just gonna say, I think for like a background, I'll do some kind of like canyony desert type place, like sort of like, remember like the first sort of concept images we got? I believe like one of them was like a lone adventurer sort of traveling through Zone 2.
Yeah, it was like the wallpaper, right? For Zone 2?
Yeah.
You know when you're a kid and all you want to do is build a snowman?
Yes.
Well, in my mind, they started a civilization once magic was imbued with them to give them life. So, now I have a bunch of snowmen just being dorks. I'm gonna give one of these a twirly mustache. I swear people can do way better stuff with Microsoft Paint than this.
Are you excited for Christmas?
Oh, definitely. It's definitely one of my favorite holidays because, I mean, one, I'm just a sucker for like cozy things, admittedly. And I also just love like the concept of, you know, family and like gratitude, you know, and sort of just really appreciating what's in your life and giving, like the generosity.
So you asked who I talked to in the community?
Yeah, like who are you friends with?
Well, one of the first people I interacted with is Shadrock. He's a pretty awesome guy. He started off with a lot of Hytale theories, and yeah, I don't know. I think we bonded a bit, and then recently I've been in contact with Fire. He out of the blue commissioned me, and it was great.
Well, that's great to hear. I mean, like, I know that a lot of people are getting like a lot more friendlier now. Like, you're seeing the same people pop up every now and again when Hytale, makes an announcement, and I think it's good that we have this semblance of community building up.
No, I'm super excited for it. I hope that everyone that's kind of together right now can kind of stay together till the release and stuff.
100%. I'd love to be seeing everyone like either making content or doing something in Hytale at some point, or in the industry overall. Just I'd love to keep in contact.
Yeah.
It's definitely great.
Absolutely.
Have you got any resolutions for New Year's?
New Year's. I think I definitely want to be more sort of open to new experiences. Sort of one of my main flaws, admittedly, as a person is that I'm very inflexible with sort of change. So I definitely like new experiences and being more open to stuff like that. Also, admittedly, it's probably been like a solid week or so since I've last been to the gym. So I really need to get like a consistent exercise pattern going again.
You have got 3 minutes remaining. How are you
What should I
feeling?
add? What should I add?
Something freestyle. I don't know, something totally random. Like
No.
add the new blog
Nope.
post in the background. How's stuff looking? You've got 3 minutes left, just under. You've got about 2.5.
I think things are looking alright. I definitely like the Kweebec image out of all three.
This drawing's gonna be called New Blog Post, Christmas Miracle. Like, they're really happy, dude.
I'm actually glad that they didn't just release like a Christmas screenshot, and actually this makes me think it's more likely that they'll also do that as well, considering they're updating like, I guess bi-weekly or weekly or whatever. Bi-weekly it seems.
EthosPaladin is a name. Ethos just because my real life name is Ethan, and ethos is similar to Ethan. It's like the Greek word for one sort of character and their morality, if that makes sense. And then Paladin is my favorite Dungeons and Dragons class.
So I did Kweebec, because I like Quebecs obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But then Corner because it sounds like Connor. It's like my name's
Oh.
Connor, so it's sort of like not many people notice it, but it's just a small thing. It's like sort of like a little bit like Kweebec Corner, like yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
A little nerdy thing there.
I'm gonna draw some milk. There's a little Easter egg.
You got 1 minute left to do that. I think I settled on Kweebec Corner because it just had that ring to it that was sort of similar to my name.
And dude, I love the Kweebec Corner name just because, I mean, I think some guy posted about it, made a Minecraft build, I saw it, and he just said, like, when I hear that name, I think of, like, just this happy little, like, tavern, where Quebecs and maybe other friendly races can sort of just come and chill and have a good time.
It's very colorful and vibrant, and I think that actually is somewhat saving the piece. I just added enough stuff to make the simplicity look okay.
I'm very excited to see your freestyle piece.
It is nowhere like any of the others, I'll tell you that.
That's the first thing when I saw those guys in the trailer, that's exactly what I felt, and I loved that whole idea of like just embracing that, but in a more like MMO, like RPG aspect, like the world.
Mm-hmm.
They're not overly cute. They've still got that hardened edge about them. They've got to protect themselves. Obviously, they're in a swamp. They're surrounded by like these like swampy creatures and stuff. So I do kind of like their whole balance of nature that they've got going to them as well.
Yeah.
You've got 30 seconds, by the way.
All right. I think I'm just about done.
And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's time.
Made a smiley face to finish it off.
Perfect. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And stop.
All right.
Perfect. Round 3 is over. Well, thank you for joining me today. It's been an absolute pleasure. Seeing these creations come to life has been really fun, and I've had a blast getting to know you.
I've had a blast getting to know you too. I would love to work on more projects with you.
I can't wait to see all the stuff that you're going to be doing in the upcoming months for the community and all the different things that you're going to be involved with. And thank you again for taking part. No worries. Merry Christmas and have a Happy New Year.
Awesome. This was really fun to do, man.
Cool. Yeah, thank you so much for joining me. EthosPaladin, thank you very much again. Tell anyone at home what you've got going on or where they can check you out and find your stuff.
Alright, so I have a YouTube channel, which is EthosPaladin. Currently no Hytale stuff yet, but if you're interested in Pokemon Sword and Shield, I'm currently doing a Let's Play. And I also have a Twitter, which is also EthosPaladin.
As always, thank you so much to the artists. They've been brilliant throughout both parts of the series. If you've enjoyed this, make sure to give it a like, because I can continue Hytale Art Wars all the way through 2020, right until Hytale's release. Make sure to stay tuned for a video next week. I've been Connor, and as always, keep free and stay safe.